Welcome to Curious Joel, a show about curiosity taking us deeper into the topics of people's passion and interesting conversation. I'm your host, Joel Sergo. Our guests today are Jessica Bond and Terry. See if I can get this right. Pepin. So close. I literally started saying it. My brain's like, no, you're gonna get it wrong, and then just wiped that clean. Pepin. Okay. So, what is your passion? What is it that you do?
So, I'll start, I guess. It actually kind of started with Terry anyways, but we came into the ice cream business about 5 years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And from there it spurred from purchasing ice cream from pre-made sellers to going into making our own ice cream, and then even expanding to our little shop next door. But as far as the ice cream side, we've really branched out since we bought it.
Yeah. Yes, we used to purchase all of our ice cream, like Jessica said, and we started researching making our own ice cream because I'm from Wisconsin, so I know dairy.
Okay.
And
I guess you would.
I've always liked ice cream. Where I grew up was in the middle of all the cheese factories and so forth, and it all had to do with butter fat, and just kind of worked right into the ice cream. And I always wanted to make my own ice cream. We started making it first in our kitchen.
Yeah.
It was a lot smaller machine, and then it took off. It took off so well that we had to buy a bigger machine and brought it in here, and we've just been pedal to the metal ever since. We've had a lot of different flavors. It's a lot of fun thinking about different flavors. We're constantly throwing around different ideas about flavors.
Yeah.
Jessica's newest flavor is Dutch apple pie, and I thought that was a fantastic flavor.
Not gonna lie, I was drooling as I was eating it.
Right.
I was like, this is so good. It's been a while since I've had an ice cream that tastes exactly like what it's called. So really quick, just to give some context, what is it that you guys own? Because you referred to the shop.
Oh, sorry.
So just really quick, just put that in there so we have some context, so when you refer back to it. You mentioned one, and then you mentioned a second shop, so you have two shops, correct?
Yes, sorry. So the one that we are talking about is Idyllwild Ice Cream and Jerky. We do sell jerky as well, but the ice cream is primarily what we focus on.
Sure.
So. And
then just really quick, drop in the other side of that.
Yeah, our other shop is Black Bear, and it's just a little gift shop from, I don't know, we have t-shirts and little trinkets and all kinds of fun stuff for camping.
I would call it a pretty decent smorgasbord of random things to get.
Yeah.
And that's actually, we're recording right now, because the ice cream shop's a little noisy with freezers and stuff running, which you guys actually might be able to hear some in the background, depending on how well I can fix that. But yeah, so you guys own and run the Idyllwild Ice Cream and Jerky store up in Idyllwild, right?
Yep.
Okay, so from there, how did you, so you kind of gave us an overview of that, what was the, hey, we should actually make it versus just buying it? What was the key point in that?
I think that was just an easy transition for me. I'm always looking for ways to make things better, get a better product. And that's exactly what I wanted to differentiate us from everybody else that's out there. You can buy ice cream anywhere. You can go to the gas station, get ice cream. But if you want good ice cream, you come here because we make it ourselves.
Yeah. So when you were making it in your kitchen, was that with the purpose of eventually trying to sell it here, or was that just hey, let's just try and make ice cream ourselves?
Well, at first we made it kind of experimenting a little bit to make sure our flavors were in, but pretty much right out of the gate we were selling it here.
Yeah.
And then it gave us the opportunity too to go into dairy free. So that's a whole different market.
Yeah. So you do like full spectrum from like full dairy all the way down to like dairy free. Do you do any other like wow, great brain. My brain's doing a great job of telling me the other thing, like dietary restrictions or dietary needs.
So
we only go to dairy free.
Okay.
And
but we do have gluten free though.
Okay.
We do have gluten free and we do have egg free. People ask us about eggs a lot.
Okay.
And so we have gluten free and egg free, dairy free.
And it's all most of our dairy free is also vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Wow. So that
all of our dairy free, I think, is vegan. For the
I think
most
so
part.
too.
Yeah. Because I think Oreos are vegan, and that's the only really the add-in that we use, and peanut butter is vegan. So. Yeah.
I think. Sorry, I like Oreos a lot, so I'm like,
Yeah.
are Oreos vegan? I
They
don't
Yes,
know.
they are.
Cool. So you do dairy free, egg free, gluten free,
Yep.
vegan. I almost said vegan free. Okay, so and that all stemmed from starting to make it like homemade ice cream. Now I will say I have been a big fan. So for context, I've lived up here for about a little under 7 years now.
Okay.
And so when I first moved here, this is where I got my ice cream, and then you had a competitor open up, and I moved over there for a little bit, and then like as the moment I saw like homemade, I'm like, well, that's the game. That's the game for me. like, because it's one thing to like, oh yeah, we just have a lot more, and we do some interesting things with it, but you can basically buy all the ingredients at like, Walmart. Like that's one thing, but when it's like, hey, I've never had Idyllwild blackberry ice cream before, which, listeners, that's one of my favorite flavors here, and it sells out pretty quickly too.
We have a lavender honey. That's I think rather clever, and we just have a lot of different flavors, and we're very fortunate that we've been able to think up different flavors, and it's just fun. It's a very fun business to be in.
I can imagine.
Yep.
So, kind of walk me through like the creative process of like coming up with a new flavor of ice cream, or at least new to your shop, at least. Like, 'cause I'm guessing somewhere in the world somebody's made lavender and honey ice cream before, but like, what's your process of like, okay, let's just throw these together and...
Well, the other day, or not the other day, but a couple months ago, probably 6 months ago now, I was just thinking about chocolate bananas,
Okay.
chocolate covered bananas. And I went, well, hello, we can make that ice cream,
Yeah.
And sure enough, we made it, and it's a big hit.
It's
you
one
know?
of my favorites. Yeah, it's
and it
intricate,
just,
but it's good. It's really good.
it's just thinking of flavors that you have to have a palate
Yeah.
for it
I
too.
would
You have to be
assume
able to
so.
taste it and know. I'm not going to say it's like wine, but you need to have a palate for the ice cream to know what's.
Yeah,
What mixes and what doesn't.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and with some of our newer flavors like Dutch apple pie. Like I came up with the apple pie part, but then Terry was like, "Well, let's do this." So we kind of sit there and collaborate and figure out what's going to work best. And even sometimes we will release something, and our last batch of Dutch apple pie was just a little bit too much like cinnamon, so we edited that for the next round. So we're constantly shifting our
Tweaking
recipes
them.
and making sure that
Our
they taste as
butterscotch
best as possible.
caramel.
Yeah, that one's good too. But I'm surprised you haven't brought up the banana cream pie.
Well, that was my first venture, and right after we started making the ice cream ourselves, I started making because I love banana cream pie.
I am in that same
And
boat.
we introduced it. I was real apprehensive because banana, I didn't know about. It can go either way. I didn't know how the public was going to take banana.
Yeah.
Well, it just exploded. I mean, because we put Nilla wafers in it. We make it just like banana cream pie.
Yeah. Would
And
you
it's
say
just,
maybe...
everything is kind of the way I like it.
Sure. Could you maybe say that people want bananas over it?
Yeah.
Pardon that one. That was a little forced, but I couldn't help it.
And we have like our lemon crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another, I think, fantastic flavor. We have a lot of pie flavors. We obviously like pie.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I haven't tried a flavor here that was like, nah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for like, I'm not a fan of lavender in anything, so like, I haven't tried the lavender honey.
Well, I'm
but,
not a big fan of lavender myself, but it's only a slight aftertaste of lavender. The lavender you can have too much of, and I'm with you. I don't care for it, but the honey really tames the lavender.
I'm gonna make you really sad right now. I also don't like honey.
No, that's okay. That's why we talk about it and we say that we have every flavor for.
Yeah.
I mean, we have something for everyone.
I mean, like I said, I've never come here and been like, that's all you got.
Yeah.
Like, I'm usually almost overwhelmed by like, okay, they got some new flavors, and okay.
We've never really counted, I don't think, all of the flavors. Have we?
We have some on 50 flavors that we rotate
I
through.
was going to say, we must have close to that.
But at a time at the shop, we usually have 24, usually 2 dairy-free at minimum, and then 22 regular flavors.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you just cycle through like this full like menu of things and what you'll serve on a given day.
Well,
Yeah.
it's hard because we have people, a lot of our regulars that come back, they'll come here, they'll want Butterfinger.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep
We
Butterfinger.
don't, well, I'm just saying, but we might not have that out.
Right.
So they'll have to go with maybe a caramel cashew, or we always have something that we can substitute.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually when we swap out flavors, we try to aim to match them pretty well, but we're also transitioning to working out which flavors are summer flavors and fall flavors and, spring flavors. So maybe some flavors will be gone for a little bit longer than others, but that's just because we have so many that we want to make space for the ones that fit.
You want to showcase everything.
Our
That's kinda
pumpkin
hard
will be coming out here shortly.
Yeah.
to do. Okay. Can I just say I think Dutch apple pie is a year-round flavor?
Oh, yeah.
That's very
no
very
prejudice
good.
or like bias on that at all.
No
Just
pressure.
it just feels like a year-round flavor.
No, we tried it, and the first thing I said was, "Oh my gosh, that's a winner right there."
Can I ask a personal question about that? Do you use like real apples for that apple pie?
Mm-hmm.
You do? Okay, I can taste it. I was like, either this is some really good like because like strawberries for me are something I really like strawberries, but like a lot of things are like, oh, it's strawberry lemonade. It's like this strawberry syrup stuff. Like,
Yeah, it
with
tastes
chunks
like-
in. I was like,
yeah.
this is so fake. But I was like, either this is really good like kept in water syrupy like light syrup apples, or these are like real apples in there.
No, you have real chunks of
Yeah.
diced
Yeah.
apple in it.
Yeah.
That I will just say, like I said, this is a little personal for me. It's like that makes all the difference in the world to me. Is like when it's real fruit that's like this is fresh.
See, that's what differentiates us. Again,
Yeah.
is we only use premium ingredients.
Yeah.
And that
Absolutely.
gives us a premium product.
Yeah.
Like I said before, you can get ice cream anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. But
Yeah.
when you want good ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
you come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I haven't gone like I'll buy some like tubs elsewhere, but like when I want ice cream, I will come here and get it. I'll come here and get like a shake or a scoop or a bowl or something like that. So like it's worth the extra price because you're getting a quality product,
Yes.
And I was just thinking about it because like if say I go and buy a Ben and Jerry's ice cream and I'm like, well, if they added a little bit more of this, Ben and Jerry doesn't care. But you were talking about like, yeah, it had a little bit too much, so we changed it a little bit, and for the next batch, I'm like, that's like really fast turnaround for like feedback, like that you don't get anywhere else. Of
Well,
like,
that's what you get with a family-run business. Is that type of.
I've never thought about it in like the context of like ice cream of like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can be like, hey, it would be really great. You can like give feedback, and then maybe the next time you come, it's like, wow, it's better.
Yeah, no,
Which I
absolutely.
don't think you can get pretty much anywhere else. It's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, we'll fix that next round.
Well, we're always open for ideas. I mean, we
Yeah.
had a guy, he wanted a butterscotch banana, and we made it, and it went over well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem is to know what to make.
Right.
Because we have, I mean, we make a lot of good flavors.
Yeah.
And we sometimes, especially in the summer, we have to pare it back a little bit because we have to keep
Yeah.
up with all the people that are.
Yeah, you have a high demand
Well,
in the
this time
summer.
of the year it's kind of nice because this time of the year is when we can really try different things.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Experiment.
So, just out of curiosity, what does the summer look like versus like now in like the early fall? I don't know where we are. Time's gone by so
I mean,
fast.
we sell ice cream year round.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like what?
Obviously, summer is your high season
Sure.
here, but we sell it year round.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, the other day it was cold. I thought it was freezing, but it wasn't freezing. But we still got we started promoting our hot chocolate again, and people were buying ice cream left and right more than the hot chocolate. And so that's something that kind of sets us further apart as well. Is like, sorry, going into the winter season, we do have other options, but we continue to sell our ice cream. But if you were to come to us, we have churros, hot chocolate, and then I think we're going to try and start cookies maybe for winter time. So we'll have fresh baked cookies as well. So it's all going to be fresh and good.
We have a
That's
lot of
amazing.
people that'll come up to Idyllwild just for us, and
I
it's
don't
because
believe that.
well, there's a reason for that.
Mhm.
You know, the kids get a little surprise that they just love. You
Yeah.
know, the dogs all get a free treat. They get a little scoop of our
That's cool.
homemade vanilla ice cream in a bowl, and every dog gets a treat. They don't even have
Nice.
to buy a ice cream from us for the dog to get a treat.
Huh.
So, I mean, we're very dog friendly. We're very kid friendly. We love the kids. We make this little face for them, and they just light up, and you know, it puts a smile on our face. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool about the dogs because like they don't have money.
No. Yeah. Well, I always tell people it's the perk of living in a town where your mayor is a dog. So
I guess
the dogs
yeah,
have
that makes
benefits.
sense. That's really cool. So I don't want to ask you to divulge any secrets or anything, but kind of like walk us through the process of like you have a new flavor idea. How does that get processed into actual ice cream that I can buy? It's like the creative side, and then like in a broad spectrum, like what does the process look like? Because like for me in my mind, I'm like ice cream, you know, there's some stuff in a thing, and then like the day later it's ice cream, right, or something like that. Like, but I'm sure that's just me. Like my family used to make ice cream at home, full frozen little tub of thing, and you stir it and stir it and stir it and stir it, and eventually, yeah. So I'm
well,
like,
it's not the very basics of it
uh,
is that same concept,
yeah.
basically.
I'm
I mean,
guessing-
we don't stir it, but we've got
Oh
a,
gosh, that would be ridiculous.
you know, instead of a vertical tub, we've got a horizontal tub. and
Okay.
it- you put all the ingredients in it, and then you freeze it, and then it comes
So,
out. and-
like, how long does that take from like the raw ingredients going in to like here's some ice cream that we can use?
well, we've got it really dialed in. And,
Okay.
And we get 6 gallons of ice cream in about 20 minutes.
I
Wow.
would say 10 to 20, not even 20.
No,
Like, it's
what I'm
all
going to say is
fast.
by the
That's
time
a
you
whole lot
put the
faster
tub
than I thought.
in, you get cycle time is about from
Yeah.
start to finish is about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but then it's the process that's before it, like with the flavors and stuff. When we were coming up with the Dutch apple pie, we talked about it for 3 or 4 weeks before we finally
Okay.
found the right, because we want to make it sure that it's the highest quality.
Sure.
So before we found all the items that would work best for it.
And we're very, very fortunate that we're rather knowledgeable with. We can predict what's going to happen for the most part.
Sure.
I don't think we've ever had a flop.
We haven't had a flop, but we've had we forget to put things in the machine, so we create new flavors.
That does happen.
I like that phrase. I'll apology. Now we messed up the flavor. It's a good one.
I'm not embarrassed of it. I was making banana cream pie. I tell people this all the time.
Yeah.
I was making banana cream pie one day. My phone rang, and different things happened.
Sure.
And I just lost my train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to put the bananas in it.
So you just
The
made
banana
cream pie.
And I go, oh my God, because I taste it. You have to taste it every.
Sure, yeah.
I go, what the heck? I forgot to put the banana in it. Well, I put the Nilla wafers in at the end. I call it Nilla Vanilla because it was basically vanilla. I call it Nilla Vanilla. That's sold, but it you have to learn to kind of roll with it.
Sure.
There's nothing I could do at that point, but
Yeah.
I got distracted, and that's why I told Jessica, and when she was learning, to shut your phone off.
Yeah.
Don't take customers. You could do it while you're closed because
Right.
you'll lose your place,
Sure.
and then the product won't have the consistency that you want.
Right.
Luckily, I was able to recover, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I laugh about it because I still think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
You could have lost the product altogether.
Yeah.
Um,
I just think that's a very Bob Ross happy little accident
exactly.
perspective, and I really love that that vibe of oh yeah, we just called it something else. It's that's really cool.
We kind of did that. Well, I don't know. I did that with the spooky Cookie Monster. I don't know if you realize that, but I forgot to put vanilla in it, so it actually became more of a sweet cream than a vanilla. But it's not a whole lot of a flavor difference, but it's just enough. But it's still so good. It's one of our best-selling flavors right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a really cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of workshopping a flavor into reality takes a whole lot longer than I thought, especially compared to how long I thought it was going to take to make ice cream. I thought it was going to be a day or two, but it was 10, 20 minutes.
Well,
Man, that's so much faster.
with the amount of people that we serve in the summer
Sure.
and the lines we have,
Yeah.
there's just no way we could. If it took any longer than that, we would have to look at a different process of making
Sure.
it.
No,
We
absolutely.
could never keep up.
So,
No, yeah.
out of curiosity, on a average day in summer, how many people do you have standing outside your little shop?
Oh, I mean, we've gotten lines around the corner. On some of our busiest days, we've served 500 plus
Wow.
people. So,
But the lines go fast. That's
Yeah.
the one thing good we got out of COVID here was not letting people in our shop. We used to let people come in and then look at all the flavors and so forth. COVID made us stop everybody at the door, take their order, have all our flavors on our flavor board, and then walk to the other side and pick up. Well, oh my God, that was so much more streamlined way of processing the people through.
Yeah.
Because now we can focus on really the presentations and so forth, rather than having everybody everybody would congregate in this little area.
And you guys don't have a lot of space in your shop. I remember going in there and you have 5 friends with you, and you're all trying to walk around each other, and it's a small place.
For now, everybody can stand outside.
Yeah.
They have their dogs with them and everything, and now they just wait. We call out their name, they get their stuff, and it goes
a lot faster.
It goes
very fast.
It goes a lot faster, and it's a lot more
Streamlined.
I think it's streamlined, but it's a lot more personable with the customers too, because when you get one group at a time coming up, you can kind of have a little bit more of a conversation with them. Yes, it's a fast conversation, but versus having 8 people or 10 people standing in front of you and you don't know what to say or who to talk to, it's definitely a lot more personal of an experience.
Gives a little bit more of a personal touch.
And they have a chance to look at the board and see what they want
Yes.
ahead of time before they even get to the windows.
I will say that board, so for people that haven't seen this yet, when you walk up to the window, right next to the window with the where you order, there's just a long whiteboard that just has the flavors written down, so you can just go down this list of flavors, which is really nice. And for me, who sometimes has executive dysfunction, which is trouble making decisions.
Yeah.
So my brain struggles with that. That's why I pick a restaurant based on what I want to eat, not go to a restaurant and then figure out what I want to eat. So like, I know for most places, like if I'm going to In-N-Out, I know I'm getting 3x3 with fries, and I have a few things I might switch up, like what drink I get, or like if I get a shake. But like, I know what I'm getting at In-N-Out. And like, I know what I get at like Applebee's and like all these different places. I know what I'm getting. And so with a place with lots of flavors, like ice cream stores can be really hard for me as I'm sitting going like, I don't know, they all look really good.
Yeah.
Well, you're not alone.
No, we get that a lot.
And,
Yeah.
and so that's what I'm saying is with the board is like I look and go like, okay, what sounds good? Because what sounds good, instead of like it all looks good and sugary and I want to eat all of it, I can go like, Dutch apple pie sounds really, really appetizing versus just looks good. And that also like, because something else is like I found out that ice cream, sometimes the colors are deceiving.
Yes.
Where the flavors, the names can be a little more on like direct to it. So I can like, okay, I can order something like, well, this is what I thought I was going to get by look, and at taste I'm like, nope, that's still exactly what I wanted. So I like that concept, and I kind of wish more people just like, here's all the flavors we have, instead of like, okay, here's this flavor of here, and then if you like look like 6 inches this way, you can see this one, and then over and over and over and over.
Absolutely.
So I kind of like that like streamlined process, and I think
we
that's
really think about how we're going to name the flavors too, so people know.
Yeah.
Whenever, like Dutch apple pie, that pretty much says it all.
Yeah.
Banana cream pie.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever walked up and been really confused. I think the only one that caught me for a minute, because I'm not a super big like just mint person, was the Andes mint.
Oh yeah.
And but once they explained like, oh yeah, you know little Andes mints, I'm like, oh, there you go.
Yep.
We wanted to put that in there so people knew that we had Andes candies in it.
Yeah.
We put chocolate chips and Andes candies in it.
Yeah.
And again, that's what differentiates our mint chip from a lot of other people's.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. That's a really like. Sorry, this is just a whole lot of. I get really excited about like learning about the backside of things, and like it's just really cool because my brain, like as things like start opening up, my brain's like, oh, I want to explore that room too, and there's just a lot.
No,
So I get really excited, and it's just really cool to like think about like, because once you guys say something, my brain starts like thinking about like, okay, what else does that imply? And so like it's really cool, like you guys, like. I didn't really transfer like the fresh apples to like, okay, what else? What other things are like higher quality than a lot of other places when
Or
there's
strawberry, we use real
yeah.
strawberry.
No, that's another one. Yeah, I love strawberries, and like that's something I really like. Every time I come here, it's like, okay, what else? What have they put with strawberries?
Right. Well, absolutely.
Again, premium in, premium out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the process from you workshop and make sure that you're whatever the new flavor is, you're not just like, well, I guess we can just throw that out there. It's like you're going down like, okay, what's the best way to do this? What's the best product like for the flavor that we want? How do we make sure that that's what we actually want?
We would never
absolutely.
ever put a inferior product out.
Oh no.
Ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say you just scratched off a question from later on. I think it was where'd it go? Have you ever had a flavor like not work? But I mean, by what you're talking about, like,
so.
Maybe not necessarily not work. Maybe be a little bit less popular just because of flavor palette. But that's different. Yeah, it's. I mean, we make so many that we suit every.
I mean, I had a little girl start crying one time because she insisted on having this green ice cream right here.
Oh, no.
And her dad, we scooped it up and I gave it to her. And
It's a pistachio.
her dad came back and said, "Oh my God, I'll buy another one." She thought this was mint chip, and here it was pistachio. I said, no. This is a no cry zone here. We don't charge to switch them out. It's a mistake.
So the girl just got mint chocolate chip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Nope, nobody cries here.
Yeah, if you come to an ice cream shop, you have to leave happy. That is like the number one rule.
I feel like that's fair. Like, you know, like, I'm not going to, like, I might come to an ice cream store crying, but I shouldn't leave crying.
Oh, exactly.
I would say 99% of the people that come here we're very, very fortunate. We say this all the time, that we're so lucky to deal with happy people all the time.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's happy. They're getting a treat.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that they're not disappointed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. So, I like to be real on my podcast. I want people to know what it's actually like. This isn't just to like make people like, oh yeah, everything's always perfect and everything like that. Like, there's obviously like there's two quotes. I don't remember if the other one's a quote now. But there's one quote from I might be wrong, but I think it's Plato that said, if you find a job doing something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's pretty accurate. But even, and I say this a lot on my podcast, like, even podcasting, like, I love doing what I do, but, like, editing the episode or, like, writing the description or, like, trying to get certain content out sometimes it's just hard. Like, so let's talk about some of the like, what's, like, the hardest part of ice cream? Like, running a shop, making ice cream,
I personally feel the hardest part is sometimes reading Yelp reviews.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. That's
when most of we have a real high. We have 4.8, I think.
4.8 stars.
4.8 stars.
That's really good.
But you just get some people that you can't please, and
Sure.
I don't know what if they come here on a bad day or what the deal is, but they'll just give you and you read this and because we take everything to heart.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing for me personally.
It's just when you like see someone that's like,
And-
I hated this and this
and
was the worst.
you just try to respond to these, and say, well, please come back and try us again, because
we
We
don't
wanna
know
give you
what
the-
happened that
if
one
you're
time.
saying that, whatever, it's just not true.
Sure.
We know it's not true.
You put
because,
too much work into every aspect of everything to
when everybody else has had that same flavor and they're
right.
in love
Or
with
the
it.
experience, yeah. But I mean, even if we do have a bad,
Or
Like,
sometimes
there's
they'll
bad
have to
Yelp
wait.
review.
They'll complain about waiting or something. The line was too long, so we decided to go someplace else.
Mhm.
Well, they don't see how fast the line moves.
Sure.
Mhm.
They just kind of walk past it. Like,
Quite
oh, no.
honestly, if you just want ice cream, you can go anywhere and just get ice cream.
Sure.
we have quality ice cream.
But
Yeah.
My-
I've also heard people like, as I'm sitting here eating one of my delicious flavors, I've heard people like, well, I was going to go to this other place and I saw homemade over here. And it's like, yeah. So like, yeah. But I can definitely see that. Like, I don't think that's anyone anyone's ever said of like getting bad feedback of like, and like, I mean, I can imagine like, I don't know what I would say if someone was like, yeah, I was listening to your latest episode and just like the quality was poor and I think you asked bad questions and like you really didn't like, why didn't you dive into that? Like, I would be pretty destroyed over something like that. Of like, I didn't ask enough questions.
I think when you care as much as we do
Sure.
about our ice cream, you really take it to heart. And
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that when they give out reviews like that.
No, I
Yeah,
agree.
I think a lot
So
of
much
people are just used to like reviewing like corporations and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and like I also feel like there's certain people that just have sour brains. Like
Yeah.
they can go through life and they could like win $1 million and not be happy about the color check, big giant check that they got. They're like, I don't like the color of the check. It's like, well, you won $1 million. Why does the color of the check out? Like,
Well, I think we got one time because we didn't have soft serve. And I said, I told my wife, I said, soft serve?
So we have
You
homemade
know,
ice cream.
Well, people, they want
what they want.
They want what they want. And I mean, some people just, that's why they have soft serve out there.
yeah,
But I tell people, look, we make all of our own ice cream here.
Mhm.
If you want soft serve,
McDonald's.
you're gonna have to go someplace else. We had a soft serve machine in here when we first bought the
Mhm.
ice cream store. And I did not like that machine. I thought it was too labor intensive. I don't see how we made any money on it. we're a business. We need to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, I told my wife, I said, we're getting rid of that machine, and we did. And it was the best thing we ever did. But we get people periodically that, they'll just walk away because they want, and that's why there's so many flavors. That's what they want. Well, we can't provide that.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody wants what they want, and that's okay with us. Like, we're never going to be like, no. Like, we're never, like, what am I trying to say? We get people that come up and they want, like, chocolate dipped stuff, and so we'll recommend them to another shop. And we're never going to, like, bash our competitors, because that's something that's nice about this town, is that everybody has something different that everybody wants. Like, each person wants something individual. But what I was going to add to that, with my least favorite part of the ice cream making business, is actually probably driving to the dairy. And that's what people don't see, is like, we drive 2 hours one way and 2 hours back with our dairy. Like, we have a really good cooler, so it keeps it cold, but they don't see that side of things, where there is extensive hours that go into this process outside of what they see with us in the shop.
That is a premium cream that we use.
Yeah.
You pick up your dairies?
Yeah.
You drive
from
2 hours?
Dairy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's a reason our ice cream tastes the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, my Wisconsin roots are coming out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay?
Yeah, I in that perspective, saying that now, I'm like, yeah, I guess it would make sense. Like, you're not gonna go to, like, Walmart and pick up gallons of milk.
We could have, but we don't.
Yeah.
Well, you won't taste a creamier ice cream.
Sure.
In a good 40 miles, 50 miles of here.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, like, what area do you get your dairy from? Like,
Chino? No, that's no.
Chino
Area, yeah.
Ow. That's not an easy...
In traffic.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, because we have to go and beat the crowd sometimes.
Mm.
I mean, there's been times where Terry went to the dairy one time, and he got there, and somebody before him bought all the milk. And so he drove 2 hours for nothing there, and then he had to drive home, and then drive back the next day.
Wow.
So, I mean,
they
it's
can
a
only
process.
process so much.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they've got the best around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, on any given trip, like, what is, like, an average amount of, like, that you're picking up?
Gallons, we get it's 32 times.
Well, we do 30.
So 64, probably around 75 gallons of.
Jeez.
No, I think it's more than that, though. Because we do about 32 bags a visit, and you get 2 3-gallon tubs from each bag, and then. But I can tell you that it is 750 pounds of milk that we have to carry and move every time, because they put it on the receipt how many pounds it is. So today we got like 500 and something because we got a little less, but it's always over.
Quarter ton of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But it's premium cream.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. It's just astounding. I would have never thought about, like, well, if you're making it, you have to get milk somewhere.
It's premium in, premium out.
Yeah.
And there's a reason nobody else makes it around.
Sure.
That's the biggest reason right there, is just how far you have to go to get cream.
Sure. I mean, right now my brain's just thinking, like, I'm going to be way more appreciative of my next scoop of ice cream and, like, really paying attention to the very, like, I'm usually pretty detail oriented and, like, can taste the individual, like, ingredients, but, like, I'm going to be trying a little bit harder, like, yeah, I guess this doesn't just taste like regular old, like, Walmart milk.
Yeah, no, because Walmart milk is I can't tell you, I don't know if we can tell you what percentage we use. No, it's a secret. But it is above 2%. It's far above 2%, but.
Me and my family were joking a couple days ago at our most recent birthday party, celebrating about, like, percentages, and like if like whole milk must be 100%, right? And like 2%. So, but we're smarter than that. But I was just being stupid. Like it's like, well, how many 2% milks do you have to add together to get 4%?
Oh.
And stuff like that, and like dairy, like was it fat free, half and half, and like all these different things that are labeled. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so I was laughing. I want to make sure you guys knew what I was laughing
You're
about.
good. You're good.
Okay, so you don't eat, like what you get. You couldn't even like get at the store. You would be like 2% or whole milk. It's some special thing between that.
But you have to remember, this 2 hours.
Sure, I mean,
but that's just to get the cream. That doesn't include making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week I spent over 8 hours in a day making ice cream. I made 30 bags ish of ice cream worth, which double that, 60 tubs.
So really quick, just because my brain perceives something, and I'm not sure it's true. So do you make like the actual ice cream and then add flavors to it later?
It depends on the flavor. It depends on the ice cream. So
sometimes you have to, like our pistachio, you seed in the almonds at the end.
Mm-hmm.
While it's coming out, you seed them in.
Okay.
And others you might put right in the machine.
Mm.
Our machine, we can put anything in it. We can put whole cookies in if we want, and it just.
But we try not to.
But it's expensive.
Yeah, we try not to do the big stuff in there too, and something that I know that I focus on, I think Terry does too, is that we try not to put any like peanut products or anything like that directly into the machine.
We'll run that at the end.
Yeah, we run it at the end, or we sanitize in between, but just to prevent that anyways.
So
we do
like severe peanut allergies don't have to be like worried about stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys put a lot of thought, like. I know I'm saying this a lot, but like it's just interesting, like, and very amazing, like how many steps like are not just like accidental. It's like, yeah, we want to make sure that you like if you have a severe peanut allergy or nut allergy in general, like it's not something that's like, oops, did we use peanuts in this one? I don't know.
Yeah.
Were there peanut residue in the thing? Like,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of effort that you guys put into like every flavor.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Well, people think that, it's easy. Well, when my wife and I first bought the ice cream store, I just wanted something to do.
Sure.
I thought, I can scoop a little, talk a little, but then I started thinking, I went, well, this ice cream's okay. I mean, we were getting good ice cream, but it.
Not like this though.
It's
Not like what
like
we
that.
did. No.
So that's when I bought that small machine and started making it in the kitchen. I went, wow, there's a big difference between this and that.
So really quick, I want to talk about the transition really quick because my brain asked that question, I forgot about it. So how did you go from like store bought to like as far as like buying, like was it like, hey, here's our like 3 flavors of homemade ice cream?
That's exactly what we did.
Okay, and then like what, like how fast did it go from those 3 flavors to like everything's homemade?
Quick. It went quick.
Okay, like months, weeks, days, hours.
No, not hours.
Maybe 2 months.
Okay, I was ready to be like a week.
It was very difficult to try to keep up because I could only make
sure. You had a low
1.5 gallons at a time.
Sure.
With the small machine.
Yeah, and one of our buckets is 3, so.
So you'd have to run it twice.
Just for 1 bucket of ice cream.
1 bucket, where now we make 6 gallons at a time.
Right.
Mm.
That's crazy.
But
So-
that got us off the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
that small machine, and that was expensive. But that got us off the ground, and that got us, and then we could advertise our homemade ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah.
As soon as we started advertising that homemade ice cream, we started getting more and more people.
Right.
Because it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I want homemade.
Right. No, I mean, homemade will get me just about in any store. As long as it's a product I vaguely want, it'll make me like, oh wait, hold on, this is handmade, homemade. Like for me, the more and more things go like factory stuff, the more when it's like someone spent time on that. Like one of my favorite things that I own is I inherited it. Oh no, I think it was a gift from my grandpa, and it was his handmade Italian leather shoes.
Oh yeah.
Hand tailored, and I'm like, I love those shoes. They are nice. They're hard sole, so I can't wear them for too long. But I love wearing them because like this is handcrafted. I know it is.
Yeah.
Like that is something that you're not going to see much of for like. It's not. You can't just go into a store and like, hey, can I get a pair of handmade shoes? Like, well, someone touched these once. It's like, great. No, like hand stitched. No, we don't have anything better. It's like,
well, that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, when they pick them up and they don't have a real concept sometimes of the homemade ice cream.
sure.
They go, oh, you make it here? I said, well, yeah, it's homemade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We make it, you know.
Mhm.
It doesn't help that there's a lot of false advertising out there of things that are homemade, like in quotes, homemade, you know.
Sure.
So
And it's like, yeah, we threw the garnish on top. It's like,
yeah.
great, thanks.
No, we do everything. Well, Jessica does now. And she does a very, very good job.
Sure.
And I've been very fortunate to have her taking over now, and she really takes interest. And
Okay, so when you say taking over, is that like a transition or like?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
We can't. Yeah, I mean, well, when you first bought the shop, it was 5 years ago. But I think I was transitioning to go. I graduated and went overseas for 6 months, and then I moved to Utah. So I didn't have a whole lot of say in anything that was going on in the business, and so it took some convincing. But now I'm here, and I actually love it. Like
she's just fit. It fits like a glove for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been everything I've tried to show her everything I know, and she's added a lot to it.
That's really cool.
It's nice when she'll ask my opinion or we'll talk back and forth.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of asking questions.
Well, but we want to make sure that the product,
Sure.
that's the
All
main
comes down
thing.
to that, yeah.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like I told you before, with the small machine, I'd make 12 tubs in a day, and I thought, oh my God, that was a lot of work.
Yeah, well, no, and that's exactly why, like, I take a lot of pride in it, too, is because I don't want to ruin something that has been so hardly worked for. Like, you've worked a really long time, really
but it's
a lot,
been,
so.
I've been very fortunate that it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a fun business.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work, but like you said before, if you have fun doing it,
Yeah.
you're not.
It makes
working,
it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like, because this is something that reoccurs in almost everybody that has a product that they put out there. There's always somebody that, or a group of people that are always like, well, it's just too expensive. Like, but they just don't realize, like, the quality that's coming out and, like, how many hours and days and years went into making it so that this is what you get. You know.
Yeah.
Well, our biggest thing is you pay for what you get.
Yeah.
And we, like I said before, we have premium products that we put in. Everything we put in, our cream has gone up 30%.
Sure. Yeah.
And we've absorbed a lot of that price. We haven't really raised the prices of our ice cream cones very much. And we have to see where this inflation and everything's going to go, because everything's been getting expensive. And you get the old people now. I tell old people like me, they'd say, "Oh, I used to get these for a nickel or whatever," and I say, "Well, I don't know what to tell you, but
gas also used to be like 10 cents."
Yeah.
Used to.
But I don't know about you, but I don't mind paying for good food. If I go out to eat, and as long as the food is good, I'm happy to pay that whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
But if I'm disappointed, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, when it's like, I paid how much and this is it? Like, even if it was good, it's like, well, I would have been okay paying like $20 for this, not $30 for this.
Well, say, you know how big our scoops are.
Yeah.
We make it worth your money.
You probably get a scoop and a half.
Yeah, no, there's
in
been a
your
few times I'm
scoop,
like,
so-
I asked for one scoop, and I'm like, no, I only paid for one scoop. This is like almost 2 scoops.
Yeah, we try to do what your money's worth. And that's something, too, that I've noticed with kind of going back to it. I don't know if it relates to your question, but something I thought of was we do quantity over quality, but I think, or no, quality over quantity. Sorry,
I was like,
wrong
wait a
way around.
minute.
Wrong way.
Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity, but we still try to give you the quantity that you pay for. So, I mean, and that's a lot of things that people look for is like, sometimes something is a lot, or it seems like it's a lot more money, but if you were to go to Cold Stone, I always tell people, if you go to Cold Stone, their stuff's going to be the same price as ours, and it's not homemade.
Sure.
And ours is greater quality than theirs is,
Yeah.
and you probably get, it's a better product and better.
I would say, not working for your store, I would say, like, I think I would get more here ordering the same, like, same. If I would make the same order to both shops, I think I'd probably get more here. And, like,
I know
it would definitely taste better. I can guarantee you that. Like, it's going to taste better. You might not have as much range of, like, toppings, but...
It all comes in
people, but I think what she's getting at is sometimes just once in a blue moon you'll get somebody come out and say, oh my gosh, it's, I don't know,
this expensive.
5 something. And we'll go, well, yeah. They'll kind of grumble a little bit and they'll walk around, but then they see it and they go, holy smokes. They weren't expecting to get that much ice cream.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want that perceived value.
Right.
Yeah, even though it's a premium product, we still want that perceived value. So,
and that's a rarity. Is like you're not doing the whole like $75 plate of food that's like 5 bites and it's like it's really like the chef was trained by Gordon Ramsay and spent like 50 years working for like you're like but I paid $50. Can I be full?
Yeah.
You're not doing that like whole like it's artisanal so it has to be.
We're not doing like like when you go to the store now and you see those small soup cans, same price but it's smaller.
Yeah.
But we would never put a smaller scoop.
Right.
For the same price. Yeah.
We're if anything, I mean honestly, we'd probably charge a little bit more and you'd still get that big scoop.
Right. Yeah.
To just accommodate our costs.
It's weird because you're talking about quality over quantity, but it's like just barely over quantity.
Well, and I mean that's what we get is like when we show people what we give them, then that's when they understand that it's pretty even, like the quality to quantity ratio for us. But I think that they see it just sitting there and they're like, well, I could go across the street and get that shake for $5 and it's 35 ounces and but you're not getting the same quality.
Yeah. And like I said, I think what you guys are doing is fairly rare of like, just because it's really good doesn't mean that you're just like, well, we have to cut back on how much we're giving you to kind of make things like, no, you're like, here, we want you to have this really good product. And like, I'm guessing that's how you build like a lot of loyalty. Like you said, you have people that come up the mountain, which the mountain by itself, no matter which way you're coming, is at least, 35 minutes with zero traffic?
It's 40 minutes or it's an hour to the desert. We get a lot.
But like,
or San Diego.
San Diego is like 2.5.
Yeah.
Probably the closest is Hemet.
Yeah, that's 45 minutes. And so like, you have people coming up, and I'm guessing their loyalty is built off both the quality and secondarily the quantity. Yeah. Like, I mean, that builds loyalty pretty quick.
Well, and they like talking to us. I mean, we try to make you feel at home when you come.
Sure, absolutely.
And the kids will say, "Let's go get that ice cream at the
place with the smiley faces."
Yeah, it's the smiley face.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned the smiley faces, and I forgot to. Where do you put the smiley faces, and how do you do it? So I haven't seen the smiley face before.
It's because you're in a
You haven't seen it?
No, it may look like that.
No, so with the smiley faces, we have little candy eyeballs, and then we make a smile with the scoop and put the eyeballs on there. And it's just something so little, but, I mean, we make little aliens, little monsters, like, all kinds of little things. And just to get them, like, their eyes light up when they see it for the first time. There's kids that do come back and they're like, I want that because I know what it is. But the kids who see it for the first time, like, it makes it so worth it. It's amazing to see. They just glow.
And the parents just You know, they light up. Everybody lights up.
Yes,
Everybody feels like a kid when they come to
Sure.
the ice cream store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish Goldfish wasn't a thing, because you could totally steal their slogan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I can say it or not, but, you know, snacks and things and smiling back and stuff.
Yeah.
And but I mean, like, you know, people like seeing smiles. And like, I mean,
We make it fun. And
next
that's
time
it.
I get a scoop, I'm going to ask for the smiling face so I can see
Yeah,
you
we
guys talk about
do.
it.
We do get adults that ask for it too. We're more than happy to, you know.
Well,
anybody who's having
sometimes
a
if
day,
I'll
it's-
see an older person, like an older lady, for instance,
Uh-huh.
and then they'll want one scoop and say, oh, don't put well, I'll do it the same way, and I'll put the eyeballs and stuff in there and put the little cone on top, and you bring it out and they're beaming. I mean,
Yeah.
you just made their day, because
Sure.
everybody feels like a kid when they come.
Yeah.
That's-
That's
we
really
just
cool.
want to keep that happy feeling.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Wow, that was a nice long, like, just total derailment from the question, but I love it. So we talked about what the hardest part is. What about, like, the easiest? Like, what's the thing that's, like, the most natural thing that you guys get to do?
Talk to people.
Yeah, I was gonna say his is talk to people. He'll come in just to visit on the weekends sometimes, or not to visit, but to help. And I'll just send him outside just to make sure all the customers are okay, because you're so good at talking to people, and it just, I think, like, when you have a natural talent of talking to people, it makes it not awkward, but it makes it comfortable, and it makes it a family environment. And
Well, Jessica's very, very good at it.
The way she said you have that skill makes it sound like she's not very confident with her skill.
No,
I like
she's
talking to
very
people.
confident.
I'll go out and talk to people too. I just don't think I'm like to his level yet. I'm still in the learning stage now. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's one of the best things about it.
She's very
For
good.
me, it's the dogs and the kids though. I really like. I probably know more dog names than local names of people, and more kids than local or than their adults. They're I almost said they're humans, but they're adults. But no, I mean, there's like this one little girl who comes every time, orders the same exact thing. I can name her order. I can name her little brother's order, just because they just, I don't know.
You have
That's
like
what
you have
makes me
regulars and you
happy.
have like your usual.
Yeah. Yep.
I will say that was one of my favorite parts about like when I moved up here and lived here like through the winter. The first like two winters after the first like second winter, I had a few places that like I knew the waiter and like okay, which one is it? Is it the lasagna or the spaghetti? I'm like, lasagna today.
Yeah.
And like he knew I was one of two things. Like I said, my executive function problems. Like he knew it was either the spaghetti or the lasagna. He's like, and he knew me, and we could joke and like, you know. And I think that's one of the really cool things about like this small town that we have is like, and especially the people that like you go to a store and you know who you're going to see there. Like there's only a handful of people that work there, and you know, like, oh, is Jessica in today? You know, like, oh yeah, there she is. She said hi. And, you know, gives me a hard time whenever I order my food, my ice cream. You know, like, but that's one of the really cool spots and like things about this small town, and especially like, you know, the family owned stuff up here, and that's really cool. What was a skill that you didn't think you were gonna need for this? Like, or like something that was surprising that like most people wouldn't think was like a necessary skill.
Driving to the dairy. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I personally didn't have anything that was really unexpected. I had a business before,
Okay.
so I kind of knew. I'm a planner, so I
Sure. I mean, I
And-
can see that with all how much work you put into all ice cream.
and her mom, my wife,
Mm.
she's an accountant, so she
Oh.
she really brings a lot to the table, you know. So there were not. The cost of goods maybe.
Okay.
I
Oh,
would
the
say-
skill of like learning of like what's profitable and what's not.
Well, just the cost of everything took me off guard a little bit.
Okay.
And, just when we wanted good
Well, the
name
quality.
brand stuff,
Yeah.
you know,
And that is a skill. Like that's something that most of my family will like, and friends will like. Hey Joel, I'm looking to buy this new thing. Here's the general product I want. Find me the best one. It's like that's a skill that, like, you know, I mean, you've heard my reactions to all how the links you go to get certain things. Like that's a skill to find. Like if you were to ask me where to go buy dairy products, I'd be like, I don't know. There's a farm over there.
I think, yeah, for me, I think I cannot talk. Sorry.
It's okay.
My skill that I've learned basically is to take over his role, because I've learned everything from you, so I can't think of anything specific that I was walking into blindly. I think I knew fully what to expect, and Terry kind of had all of the hardships of it, and he just kind of taught me what to do.
And Jessica is smart, and she picked right up, and she listens, she watches, does what I tell her to do, and
Yeah. Okay.
and we talk about stuff, and it works out. It's been working out very, very well, and that's why we're transitioning her to take this business over. And
Gotcha. So
and
you're still
she's
planning?
lucky because she talks and talks and talks.
What about like the palette? Was that something that you weren't expecting to have to use as much, or
No,
Was that kind of like an
that's a
expected-
good point. A very good point. I'm fortunate in that I've got a pretty good palate.
I mean, the
We
flavors
like
that I
ice cream, so
Yeah.
we've had lots of experience.
Well,
You know,
I've been a professional ice cream taster for many years now.
Well, you can make stuff too sweet,
Sure.
not sweet
Yeah.
enough. I've
But-
made everything the way I like it,
Sure.
and it's been a hit so far.
Yeah.
No, that is something
know.
too, though, because you have customers that come up and they ask you specifically which ice cream is your least, like the least sweet, and you're like, they're all ice cream. But if you pay attention though, like our Kona coffee is the one I always suggest because it's got less sugar added to it and it's more of a direct coffee product. So it's
We don't add any sugar to it.
no, but like I mean. Well, it has like less like Oreos and it doesn't have any toppings and things like that. That's what I
Gotcha.
meant.
Okay.
So it's definitely a lot less sweet than what we could give you. I mean, if you want the Spooky Cookie Monster with every topping imaginable, yeah, there you go. But then we have the Kona coffee where it's just very mellow, and we have something that suits every palate.
Our cream is our claim to fame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So, what is something that, like, in your day-to-day life or whatever, like, often people have things that, like, I wish people just knew this thing. Like, you know, there's certain things that, like, as a podcaster, people don't realize how many times I have to listen to my voice talking about these things to edit things down and, like, find certain timestamps and, like, do that. Like, that's something I wish people would appreciate more. Is like, yeah, I'm sorry that I missed a thing in there. I got so sick and tired after like the 10th time of listening to my voice.
Well, I think
it's like,
people
what's something
just think that we have little elves in the back that make the ice cream, and they don't. The normal person doesn't understand how much work
Sure.
goes into making your own ice cream.
Yeah.
Again,
because-
there's a reason people don't do it because it's
Right.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you go into it, and even for me it was an adjustment, but you think like usually I work the 4 busiest days of the week: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But then Monday I drive to the dairy. Tuesday I make ice cream all day. So then technically like one day of the week is when I get off.
Sure.
And so there's a lot that goes into it, and the care and the time and the love that we put into it is something that we wish people would see more of. But
Yeah.
you can't make everybody like understand that. It's a process.
I think a lot of people. I think that's why people come back to us.
Yeah.
I do.
No, absolutely.
Because I think a lot of them understand it. They just don't understand
The
all
extent.
of the extent
Yeah.
of the work that goes into it.
Like I said earlier, I think that's something that a lot of creators like have in common is that a lot of them are like, I just wish people understood, like, I don't charge this because I just want to. I don't like this isn't something like one of my interviews was with a graphic designer. It was like, well, it took you like 10 minutes to like do that. It's like, and how many years of college and how many hours of sitting at this computer learning how to do this in like 10 minutes, you know? And like, that's what I was talking about, like the infrastructure. Like you have an easier job, Jessica, because like he put in a lot of work building that, like, so that it is this streamlined process that you can just like, just put it in and do the thing, and you know. And I think a lot of people struggle with understanding, like, this didn't just pop out of the freezer and be like, hey, look, there's new ice cream has arrived.
Not many people would put up with having an ice cream machine in your kitchen.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause that was a mess. I mean, there was you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
If you don't spill 5 times when you're making ice cream throughout the whole entire process of all the ice creams, you didn't do it right. No, I'm just kidding. I spill milk so much. And it's sticky, so like everything ends up sticky. And
Yeah.
Well, you learn not to do that.
well, I do, because it's like, but...
Yeah. So just like, you wish people understood, like, how much time and effort has gone into making this quote-unquote simple scoop of ice cream that, you know, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, is it, like, I think that's a very common sentiment. I was telling us about this before the interview.
Yeah.
My brain just decides, like, you know how to say this word. No, you don't. Sentiment?
That
Sentiment.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of, like, just, like, people... I feel like a lot of people are underappreciated. And like the work that goes in behind the scenes, and that's one of the reasons I like this. I like doing this podcast, is because like it lets people see, like, this isn't just like, oh yeah, we just pop it in the microwave and pops some ice cream that you can have. You know, like,
Yeah.
you hit 3 seconds and then wait and then woo, look at this.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. If people listen to this podcast, maybe you inspired them to start their own thing somewhere, you know, what advice would you give to somebody that's like, ooh, making ice cream sounds fun, like, just starting out? What would be your advice?
I would say just be patient with the process and understand that there's going to be a lot more to it than you originally think, but once you get that process down, the product that you make is like tenfold so much better than the frustrations that come from anything, like from all of making it and deciding what to make and going to the dairy and everything, and like just having that product and seeing the smiles on people's faces. So just the patience of it, and
Seeing how much better your product is.
yeah.
So just patience and time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about if you were able to go back in time to when you like first started? Would there be any advice that you'd give yourself?
Probably buy the bigger machine.
Start bigger. It's worth it. Okay.
Well, we didn't know, and
Sure. I mean, I feel like you did a very wise choice of like starting small, because like if you had bought like the big machine and it didn't work out, you know.
well, I was a little apprehensive because
Sure.
we bought this. This was a little ice cream shop up here in the mountains.
Yeah.
It was doing so-so, just so-so,
Mm-hmm.
buying the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, buying that little machine was expensive.
Yeah. No. It's, I mean, that's a big investment, but
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
I thought, holy
and
crap.
that's a risk reward thing. It's like, I think you did make a good choice, but like I also can see, like, yeah, if there's certain things that if I had thought about more, like for instance my laptop, I would have, like, if I'd realized this is what I was going to be doing a lot more often, I would have invested a little bit more in my laptop. Back when I first bought this laptop, it was a big investment, and then it's like,
Well,
well,
you do what you can when
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
but okay. So one of my favorite questions to ask is, and for different people it's a little hard to phrase different ways, but like basically if you had a magic snap, like a genie wish of like where you'd want this whole thing to go, like what would that look like? Pretending like money and time weren't issues, like what would that look like? Would it be like this giant place, would it be what you have now? Like, what would that look like?
I would say, like, to make it bigger and better, I would want to expand it and have more than one shop.
Okay.
But that's
Like satellite stores?
Yeah, but that would that obviously would require a lot of work and time
Again,
and effort.
we are
without
suspending
that, yes.
reality for a moment, like wishes and fishes and
Well,
all
see,
that.
and I would have the ice cream and burgers.
Ice cream and burgers.
I mean, coming
Oh
from
my gosh, you're
Wisconsin,
making me hungry.
coming from Wisconsin, there's a place called Cops.
Okay.
Custard and burgers.
Okay.
And it just does phenomenal business.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same thing with Culver's. Culver's is in Wisconsin. And they have custard and burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Custard, I often thought, because we can make custard very easily.
Mm.
But I don't know if people, because there's eggs in custard. And you
Yeah.
gotta be very careful with that.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't introduced, we have enough going on here without that.
You just got a little bit. I mean, 50 flavors rotating
Yeah.
through and making new ice cream flavors. It's
But custard is kind of a different thing all by
Sure.
itself. But custard and burgers, I think,
Okay.
would be.
okay.
But I'm too old for that. So.
Okay, just
So
go
you
what
just
about
go enjoy it.
Just go. What about you? What would be your like perfect future for the ice cream shop? Because you mentioned a satellite store, but like, would you want to like again suspending reality of like the actual physical space you have? Like, would you want a bigger store? Would you want like?
I mean,
more
it would be
people?
awesome to, in general, just have a bigger store. I think like we do really, really well with the small
Sure.
side of thing. But I would love to have more of like a parlor where you can come in and sit down
Oh my
and
gosh.
everybody can interact with each other and stuff like that. I think that would be a great like family environment
Sure.
to
I
add
would
to
love
the
it if
family-owned
we had
business.
like an ice cream parlor up here. That'd be like the coolest thing.
No, this is wishes.
This
There's
is
no
wishes.
problems.
There are no, yeah, there are no problems. There are no issues. There are no like, well, the money or the space or
We
like.
have so many people coming in, I think you just get flooded.
So we'll just make 2 ice cream parlors.
Okay, cool.
So we'll just have a warehouse.
Okay, all right. So looking back over our conversation, is there anything that like I didn't ask that maybe you guys wanted to talk about, or something that I didn't go deep enough into or touch on? Anything else that I missed?
Not that I can think of. I think we touched on pretty much all the important stuff. I mean, as long as people know that we put a lot of love and time and care into this,
Sure.
and we love talking to them. And
Okay.
that's why we're here, is for the people. Not necessarily us, but it is for the people,
Yeah.
and to create great product.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So where can people find you to either get this great ice cream or at least see the great ice cream that you're making?
Come up and see Jessica.
Right? No, I know. And something that people sometimes get wrong is spelling the city wrong. So
Okay.
I'm actually going to spell Idyllwild
Okay.
so that you know. Because people are always like, I don't know how to spell that.
Okay.
It's I as in ice cream. Dylllwild. So it's not how you would phonetically spell it, but it's spelled
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
And then we're just up on North Circle in Idyllwild, right outside, like right in the town, I would say. We're directly in
Pretty
the-
smack dab in the
Yeah,
middle.
downtown.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
what's the name of your
we're
store
hard to
again?
miss. We have a giant sign on the roof that says Ice Cream and Jerky, so it's Idyllwild Ice Cream and Jerky.
Okay.
And we also have Black Bear next door, so we're the whole little spot over here.
Okay.
And then we have our Instagram is just at Idyllwild Ice Cream. Our Facebook is Idyllwild Ice Cream Jerky. I think it doesn't have the and in the middle.
Okay. Well, I will make sure I get the correct one down in the description for everyone to hear.
No, you're perfect.
Yeah.
And what's the address here?
It's 54282 North Circle Drive, Idyllwild Pine Cove, California, 92549. So even though we're just in Idyllwild, our neighbor is Pine Cove, so we kind of combine together.
It's weird because there's certain things that will register as just Idyllwild, and some things that register as Idyllwild Pine Cove. I'm like, No, it's a different city. But anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look us up on our Instagram or our Facebook or Yelp, even, those are all, we update our hours like immediately. If we have changes, Google, we update immediately. So
cool. All right. So if you guys want some delicious homemade, lots of love and care added to this special mix of ice cream, come and check them out. Again, you will be supporting one of my favorite stores up here. But yeah, you'll also be getting a fantastic, little, delicious product. And if you have an issue, you can come talk to me, and I will set you straight. But yeah, so come check them out. And yeah, tell them that Joel sent you, and let them know that you heard them through me. Yeah. So, thank you guys so much for being on. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast for me just finding out how much extra work. Like, I know you guys put a lot of work into it, but it's just like, mind just blown at how much. Man, they don't pay enough to drive 2 hours one way for milk.
The product and the customer smiles are enough.
There's a reason the ice cream tastes the way it
does. Yeah, so like I said, thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So a big thank you to Milana Dodd for making my cover art. She's an amazing graphic design artist. Check her out at Milana's Design on Instagram. You can find that link below. Also, if you have suggestions of people I should interview, questions I should be asking on a regular basis, or just, anything else, you just want to talk, let me know. You can find me on Twitter at Joel Circo, on Instagram at CuriousJoelcast, or you can email me at curiousjoelcast@gmail.com. And if you enjoy this, if you know someone that really likes ice cream, send them this episode. If you know somebody that likes to just learn about all sorts of stuff, send them the whole show. But yeah, and then subscribe so you can find out exactly when new episodes drop. Yeah, so thank you all so much for listening, and I'll catch you all on the next episode.